Day 30 in the books, and as you can see, that is definitely not me squatting. That is my friend Youssef who's here with me. Youssef?
Hey, thank you for having me, bro.
So Youssef and I ran track together at Emporia State. He's still got one more year, but he lives in the Kansas City area. And before he goes back to Emporia for school for his last year, I thought, why don't we try and have a little collab? And he's a beast athlete. You do what events?
I do long jump and short sprints right now. Yeah.
And he has got pop. He has got pop more than anyone you have ever seen. Well, Youssef, today I did the same thing to Josh when he came. I didn't tell you what questions I had,
Okay.
but I'm going to ask you. So, Youssef, if you were on a pedestal in front of the whole world and you had one thing to say, what would you say?
Well, I tell everybody to count their blessings. Like everybody goes through a lot, and you can't really get too down. Cause me personally, like, obviously I have school, I have work, I have all that, but whenever I get down, like, I realize there's people around the world who struggle to eat. They have to dig through the trash to eat. Like, I see that in Egypt all the time. So count your blessings. Realize that your life is a lot better than you think it is. Um, yeah, we live in a world where nobody's really grateful for what they have. And yeah, that's about it.
That's actually funny because yesterday I talked a little bit about how people nowadays are just very they're very selfish and very it's like all eyes on me or it doesn't matter, you know? No one wants to look out and be kind to other people. Everyone's just so self-absorbed with themselves. So I think that's really cool if that's what you would say. I think that's a great thing to say because for those of you who do not know, Youssef is from Egypt. And did you live in Egypt for any amount of time?
I go there in the summers. I never really lived there
Okay.
extended period.
But you are fluent in it. They speak in
Arabic.
Arabic, right?
Yeah.
It's like an Egyptian dialect.
Yeah.
Right, right. So, Yusuf lived in Egypt. I lived in Kenya for a
Lived
little
in
bit with
Kenya,
my
yeah.
family, so I've seen exactly what you're saying firsthand. There is not a lot of, I mean, count your blessings, right? Us in America, our first world problems are so minuscule
Yeah.
compared to what those people literally have to deal with every day.
No, for sure.
I mean, trash laying around on the ground. I mean, you
Yeah.
name it.
They can't find food, and like, there's just a lot of problems.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll let the rest of this clip play out for the Bible verse coming up. Okay, John 16:33. I've told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart because I have overcome the world. That's a great verse to share, knowing that God has always got our back. Okay, so this next question I wanted to ask. So, being from Egypt, you practice what is it?
Islam.
Islam,
Yeah.
right? And you have is it Ramadan in
Ramadan, yeah.
Ramadan? And tell us a little bit about Ramadan.
So Ramadan, it's a month where you fast from sunrise to sunset, and what a lot of people don't realize is it's not that you're just giving up food and water. You give up like worldly pleasures, and it just teaches you, because in our religion we're God's slave. We're not slaves to our desire. It just teaches you to just keep don't follow your desires as much, and remember to always follow God's. Yeah.
So one thing I always found so amazing, and why I think what really struck me too, because I mean, I used to ask you how to say things in
Yeah.
Arabic and whatnot, is
Still remember any?
yeah, a little bit, not really.
Yeah.
But one of the things I found so amazing is even, I mean, right in the middle of track season,
Yeah.
Youssef will practice Ramadan. He will not eat, will not drink during the day. I mean, even at track meets. Um, how do you think that affects your track performance? Better, worse? What do you see? What do you feel? And kind of walk us through Ramadan during track season, especially when we're competing.
Well, honestly, I feel like I do better during Ramadan because I feel like I lose weight, obviously, and like I just you have more self-control when you give up things. And I feel like I have more self-control throughout my workouts to be like, all right, I'm in pain right now, but I got to push through it. And yeah.
I know my wife and I, we did a fast with our church, and this was during track season as well. This is probably maybe a couple years ago, and we thought the same thing. Like, I thought I was doing actually better on the track, and it's almost like God is rewarding his servants for doing what we're called to do, and, finally saying, okay, we're done with our worldly and earthly desires, and, I'm giving up the things that keep me alive aside from you to focus on you. So I think that's really cool that you kind of had that same experience.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were at Fort Hays State University, and for those of you who are not familiar, Fort Hays is in the middle of nowhere. Their track is in, I mean, it's literally like you look at a 200-acre field and you plop a track in the middle. I mean, that's how Fort Hays is. It's like the middle of April. It's 100 degrees out, and here's Youssef, who hasn't had a sip of water, and he's still out there jumping and running as fast and as far as he has been the entire season.
Yeah.
I think that puts a real perspective on, I mean, going back to just worldly desires. I mean, what we think we can do on this earth of our own is not what we can do. That's
We
not
can do a lot more.
exactly. We can do a lot more with the grace and the power and the strength of our God. Now, I heard there was a Bible study leader that used to lead our Bible study back in Emporia, and he said the worst day without God is better than the best day. No, I'm sorry. The worst day with God is better than the worst day with, or the best day without God.
I agree with that.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
So we're always taught that God's plan is better than your own plans. And when we pray, there's like a common misconception that you're praying and God gives you what you want, but God's going to give you what he thinks is best for you. That's for us. And it's just, you got to remember God knows what's best for you more than you know what's best for you. So always keep him in mind.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that goes along with, in the Christian faith, God has, I mean, he knows your steps. He knows where you're going to be. He knows when you're going to be there. And a lot of the time our earthly desires and Satan try and take over and say, no, you can do it on your own. You don't need his help. When in reality, and then we get mad when things we want to happen don't happen. We're like, why, God? Why aren't they happening? They are happening. It's just his timing, right? It's not our timing at all.
What's best for you.
Exactly. He knows what's best for us. Well, guys, we built up to some heavy front squats here. Youssef is going back to Emporia actually tomorrow.
Yeah.
So Youssef made this 315 front squat look like it was nothing. I struggled pretty hard.
No, you look good, bro.
But we'll kind of let the rest of the video play out. We will let you guys enjoy it. Youssef, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And there will be more of Youssef in the future, I promise. All right, God bless you guys.